police department.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Chesterfield Emergency Service.
You're doing good hands here.
On Monday, April 16th, 1990, 18-year-old Tisha Walker and her mother, Frances Hubbard, left the Indian reservation where they lived and headed out across the desolate swamplands of Florida.
Alligator Alley is a two-lane road that connects east and the west coast of Florida.
It's in the middle of the Everglades, so it's out there. The nearest hospital is a good hour away.
There's only 1 or 2 service stations across the whole stretch of Alligator Alley, and if you don't stop at one of those and you have a problem, you're in a lot of trouble.
For both Frances and her daughter Tisha, the Miccosukee Service Plaza was the nearest place to go for gas and food. Because they had no phone at home, any emergency meant a 16-mile trip to the plaza, where their cousin, Janice Osceola, was a cashier.
When Frances first came in, she was, visibly upset. She, was almost in tears. Jim, get out here. I just stopped what I was doing and went to the phone and dialed 911. That's the only thing I knew to do, right away.
The call came in at 2:11 p.m.
Do you need police, fire, paramedics? You need paramedics. And what city is help needed? What city are you? Snake Road and Alligator Alley.
With the medical helicopter in use elsewhere, ground rescue units were immediately dispatched, but it would take them at least 34 minutes to reach the scene.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Jim Parks, and I'm the general manager.
Okay, remain on the line for paramedics, okay? He's going to talk to you.
Okay, hold on. I have to disconnect the phone. This is a cellular phone, okay?
So as you pull the plug, it's basically anybody's guess how long it's going to last.
Are you still on? Can you hear me?
Yes, hold on for rescue, okay?
Okay. Hello? Yeah.
The call was transferred to a paramedic specially trained to handle medical emergencies, Craig Cusinelli.
Situation? Yeah, I'm familiar with the girl. They said she's having a miscarriage. All right, how old is she? She's about 19, 20 years old. All right.
Our computer set up for caller aid has basic information as far as what to do to sustain a life until the paramedics do get there.
Is she bleeding very heavy?
Yeah, the baby's already out.
It's already out? The baby is already out. It's already coming out. All right. About how old is that fetus? How many months is she pregnant? She's about, how many months? 9 months. Oh, so we have a baby there, right?
When I found out it wasn't a miscarriage, it was an actual delivery, then I knew that we were playing with 2 different scenarios here. We had to take care of both the mother and the baby now.
Yeah, we've got a baby. It's dead. Yeah, it looks dead. It looks dead? Yeah.
Stuck in there.
The head's stuck in there, and it looks like the umbilical cord may be choking him. Okay, we got to get that umbilical cord away from that baby. It's unwrapped from the neck here. Okay. I'm trying to pull it out as easy as I can. Okay. Try and push Tisha. Push Tisha. Push Tisha up.
When Kathy Banks, a home health nurse, stopped at the station for a drink, she heard about the situation.
If you're having a miscarriage, you will lose a lot of blood, so I just wanted to make sure that the mother was not going into shock.
Do it. Okay, we got a nurse on location.
I have never delivered a baby in my life. I felt terror, frustration, scared to death. I wanted to run, but I turned around to see, is there anyone behind me? No one was there, and I just thought, well, I have to deliver this baby.
Oh, okay, do you have any urge to push? Yes. Okay, what's up?
I really was scared. We had no way of getting back if we got disconnected.
Is the head still in?
Yeah.
All right, the baby is not all the way out yet.
Meconium. I see meconium. The baby's head's in.
The meconium, which is the baby's first bowel movement, was all over the place, so I knew that baby was in dire need of being delivered.
Rag, somebody. Anything. Shirt?
It's a sticky substance, and if you inhale that, that sticks to your air passages, and it's hard to get air into the lungs that way.
Push, come on, almost out. Almost out. Baby's out. Baby's out.
Baby's out. Okay, now check to see. Just try to get that kid breathing. Turn her upside down. Feet, head down. Feet up. Tap the bottom of the feet. Let's see if we can get some.
Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on.
The nurse had mentioned to me that there was no pulse, no respirations, and it appeared to be a stillborn.
The meconium was all over. It was in the mouth, in the nose. So I had to suck the meconium out with my mouth.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Mouth clear?
Mouth's clear. Come on, baby. Come on. Oh, dear God, please. Come on.
Still nothing yet, huh?
Nothing yet.
We had to get oxygen into the baby's system. And the only way of doing that would be by somebody giving mouth to mouth and nose on the infant.
All right, is the chest rising when she's doing that?
Okay, hold on, I'll tell you.
All right.
We're getting the baby in position.
All right.
4 breaths?
4 breaths?
Yeah.
Yes.
And ask her if the chest...
On a newborn baby, CPR can do some damage. However, we had to keep trying.
Have her take her index finger and the middle finger over the child's left nipple, but don't press too hard, and feel for about 5 seconds. And ask her if she feels anything.
Do you feel anything?
The baby had no motion, no movement. It was just like holding a rag doll with no life in it.
The compression rate she's going to need to do around 100, between 100 and 120.
I was very concerned. Maybe it just wasn't time for this mother, for this baby. When
We need somebody here real quick.
I know, but the only problem is you're so far out there.
Rescue units were still miles away. Paramedic Lisa Tassi was worried.
Over the radio, it didn't sound very good. The baby sounded like it was going to be very sick. Of all the bad things that can happen during a delivery, every one of them happened to this baby.
Go back over the left nipple and check for that pulse.
Check over her left nipple and see if she's starting to have a pulse. Got a pulse.
Very good, very good. We're looking fine. Everybody's doing a good job there.
Okay, and she's not as mild as she was, but she's taking very slow respirations.
I need to know what the pulse is, only because of the fact that it might not be high enough for the particular baby. The baby has to be between 100 and 120.
Baby's pulse is not that high.
Okay.
Janice Korn had once worked in the newborn care unit of a hospital.
Continue breathing for that baby because we have to get the respiration rate up.
Okay, so
All right.
1.
We're going to continue the 1 puff and 5 pumps. All right.
Okay.
It was so small and it wasn't moving and it didn't do the normal things that babies do when they deliver. Seeing the baby like that made me want to do something, anything that I could do that would make it respond, that would wake it up.
1 puff with 5 compressions.
Yes.
Good. We're good.
Oh,
What's going on?
starting to hear some noise.
Is that the baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
all of a sudden, the baby decided to take a breath of air. And when it did, I felt a little bit more relieved, but I knew we weren't out of the woods yet.
Doesn't look like a full-term baby to me.
No, it doesn't?
No.
All right, how's the respirations looking? I don't hear the baby crying anymore. I was just wondering.
She's just kind of, hold on a second. Hear that?
Yeah, I sure do.
We're spanking. She's real lethargic.
We're looking pretty good still.
Okay.
Unit should be there in about 5 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
You guys are way ahead.
That's good. Little baby up by mommy. Put this baby in her arm.
I thought it was important for her to hold the baby and to touch her and be able to see her and feel her in the event that she didn't live, she would be able to look back on that and remember that, and remember her.
There she is.
It seemed like hours, but actually it was probably around 45 minutes before the helicopters and the ambulance crew got there. It's a miracle that baby survived.
And chopper should be flying overhead too.
Okay, how about if I let you go, then everybody's here.
Okay. All right, I just want to congratulate you people. Tell everybody I said you guys did a great job.
This is what 911 is all about. People helping other people. And it just fell in place. And I wouldn't have asked for a better team. They did perfect out there as far as I was concerned.
Right before we got there, caller 8 advised us that the baby was breathing, the baby had a pulse of 160, and the baby was crying, which was very good. I basically cleaned her up a little more, gave her oxygen, I checked her heart out with the EKG, I took her vital signs again. Everything was normal for a newborn baby.
Can I help you out? Yeah, let's go.
The baby, still in guarded condition, was airlifted to the hospital. Her mother, Tisha, was stable enough to be transported by ambulance.
Everything's okay.
The baby would get to the hospital in about 5 or 6 minutes compared to ground transport was 35 minutes.
I'm glad they were there to help me, because if it wasn't for those people out there, she wouldn't be alive. She means a lot to me.
Baby Tricia has suffered no ill effects from her unusual birth.
I love this baby a whole bunch, more than anything in this world. I'm grateful for the nurse and the people that came out and saved my grandchild.
It just affects the way you look at life, and to realize how fragile life is. And when you hold a life in your hand and you breathe this child back to life, it's an experience I'll never forget.